детайли, които си пропуснал.
All right, so Rockstar Games has officially lifted the lid off of Grand Theft Auto VI with its
Oh, no. Вика са субтитрите, ла. Вика са. Дай да видим сега. Ами защото сега имат талон за GTA 6.
All right, so Rockstar Games has officially lifted the lid off of Grand Theft Auto VI with its big, flashy, famous Netflix debut. We spent a lot of time talking about
Много беше хайп, защото вчера го гледаме това направо. То кадър къв е оттам ли? То даже съм го забрал. Или това е от стария трейлер?
this game. We've talked about the business practices, we've talked about the leaks and all that stuff. Now, let's just talk about the game, because they showed gameplay. So here's some details, some information, and just some personal insights and observations from the team here at GameRanks. So, the big long trailer, whatever you want to call it, starts with the duo walking up on a housing block to do a very
Дуото се качва на жилищен блок, за да проведе
classic GTA talk to a drug dealer style
дръг дил сделка. Да, Владо.
thing. But what's important to note here, one of the first
Сега талоните на стрима са за спечелване на копия на GTA 6. Гледаш стрима, печелиш GTA 6, а пък талоните за REFAN, за подаръците от REFAN ги теглим на стрима талончетата.
big things is that we see the return of the Red Dead Redemption 2 L2 to focus on a person to talk. As of right now, it seems like it's just for basic interactions. We haven't seen
Нещо, което са взели от Red Redemption. Red Dead Redemption. Tel2, фокусираш се към някой и почваш разговор с него.
too many different things for people, but it's definitely something significant because we also see it with a dog. Jason walks up to the dog.
Да, ето тук се едно в Red Redemption, както си интерактваш с коня. Red Redemption. Red Redemption. RDR2. Вече можеш да си покажеш на цял екран, че така комо е.
Looks at the dog, and then you have options to scold the dog, pet the
Red Redemption. Gold Pet Study. Това е да го галиш. Това е да го учиш на някакви работи. Scold какво значи? Red Dead Redemption.
the dog, or press R1 to study the dog. Not quite sure what that means yet, but if you've played Red Dead Redemption 2, then you kind of know what to expect here. With holding L2 or focusing on a person, the game will give you a suite of different options to interact with. Now, as this whole scene moves along with the characters walking through hallways, we do see a pretty smooth cutscene transition when it then
това, което коментирахме вчера, че е някакъв геймплей, обаче хем геймплей, хем синематика, ма минава много смут, така от едното в другото.
transitions from third-person camera over the shoulder over to full-on cutscene with this drug den in the background. But then, of course, things fall apart and we get our first shootout. Clearly, the cover system returns here with the
Темата за прикриване се завръща.
There's been some speculation.
Прилича на системата на прикриване, прилича доста на Red Redemption системата за прикриване.
about some level of destructibility because we see a guy bash through a wall with another guy. I'm not sure if the player can do too much with that, but we do see characters.
Едва ли играча ще може да минава през стени? Това е по-скоро от синематика. Дали ще има first person? Аде! Сигурно! Макар, че никъде не показаха нищо на first person. Ама според мен ще има. Няма как да няма. Според мен ще има и first person.
Pick up dropped weapons from falling enemies, and the shooting just looks good. If you've played.
Да, взима неща от земята. Между другото, това вчера го пропуснахме. Те са танк и ще му вземе шотгъна. Цел едно.
Pick up dropped weapons from falling enemies, and the shooting just looks good. If you've played Grand Theft Auto 5, you know what to expect here, but there's things trickled throughout this whole video that actually remind me a lot more of what Rockstar worked on previously back in the day, Max Payne 3. From not only just bullet times,
Max Payne 3
elements, but actual like slow motion kill cam montages of enemies.
Да, slow motion, да. Вчера този slow motion доста на кефи.
He's getting riddled with bullets in the face. Also, this is a little speculation, but it seems like maybe there's an option to command Lucia a little bit.
Ще командорим Лусия. Значи може да командориш другия играч. Нещо като в... как се казваше тая игра с полицаите? Бе! Бягаме от това. От главата. Ready or not, да. Нали там мога командваш отборниците си. Харесва ми тук, че освен патроните, показва и какво оръжие държиш. Освен патроните, нали, и пълнителите, виж, показва и какво оръжие държиш.
Asks for cover fire and then she pops out and starts shooting. I don't know if that was a scripted moment. We can't.
Така като гледам, си наглася мерника и няма да ги аймваш автоматично. Или по-скоро ще има опция дали да аймваш автоматично или не автоматично. Бих я играл на не автоматично, защото ще е по-интересно и по-трудно.
Confirm that or not, but I'm curious to see how much tactical gameplay there is with this duo. We're introduced briefly to Mendez, who seems.
Да, верно. Когато може да командваш единия играч с другия, може би ще има и тактически геймплей. И ще е готино.
Like he's some kind of antagonist character, some sort of
Корумпирано ченге изглежда
But in
това.
some pretty cinematic fashion, we're led through this apartment building into a woman's apartment, and there's just a ton of detail, really impressive stuff going on with the lighting and just the amount of
Ние вчера това не го гледахме, това сме го пропуснали даже. Та баба не я помна. Количеството неща и елементи, които има, обаче да, наистина.
stuff crammed into this little apartment while the characters look for an exit. She busts out a window and then they proceed to climb out it and cue the big introduction to Rockstar's Grand Theft Auto 6 preview. From there, we get a cool montage, notably, for some of you guys that like music. This is Let Your Love Flow by the Bellamy Brothers playing. Here we get to see options for breaking into a car. Of course,
Я да видим какви са опшените
Bellamy Brothers
за
playing.
влизане в
Here
кола.
we get to see options for breaking into
Slim Jim Smash Window. Slim Jim е да пъхнеш такова. Едно желязо, дето се пъха да отключиш. Здрасти, смърфа. Владо, чая да утре стола, бе. На PC със сигурност няма да има автоматични емове. Да, аз за PlayStation говоря, да.
a car. Of course, the cornerstone
Да, ето го това. Так.
of Grand Theft Auto. That's what the
Minigame.
options for breaking into a car. Of course,
Минигейма.
The cornerstone of Grand Theft Auto. That's what this
Listen.
is all still about. It seems like there's actually options to either use a tool, a Slim Jim, to open the car, or just smash the window open. Also, I'm bouncing around a little bit, but in certain parts of this trailer, we do see a weapon wheel and an
Това да го гледахме вчера. Това не е инвентара ми. Боже, как се казваше? След в ролплей му викаме часовника. Мамка му. Бате, спи ми мозък.
item wheel that is brought up. Similar
Колело на оръжията му вика. Тук радиал меню, да. Все едно радиал.
to previous games, but the item wheel is interesting because you're able to
Ама то наистина не е точно меню, защото то е за оръжията. Колело на оръжията, да. Колело с предмети е интересно. Да, всъщност има си с колело за дрехите си, има явно най-разли. Едното е за айтеми, другото е за лепане. Има две колела. 15 000 долара в банката, 700 в портмонето.
that is brought up. Similar to previous games, but the item wheel is interesting because you're able to switch between all different types of items. We see
Интересно как крие оръжието, виж. Явно има анимация, с която и криеш оръжието. Или пък това е синематик.
body armor as well, but we also see health items or tonics that you
Ето ги. Едното е бронежилетки. Не, едното е тоник. Значи едното е да те хилва, другото е да прави по-бърз, издръжлив.
can use on the bottom left, and then on the top right you can see both your bank value, I guess what you have stored in the bank, and your wallet value of how much cash you have on hand. Then from here we get to see the couple's apartment, their humble Vice City apartment that's filled with all kinds of cool little details. It has been reported now that some previews are out for some of the big game outlets, that a lot of the romance stuff in the game, the romance side of it.
Значи тук ще я плющи, романтичните неща са тука.
Between these two characters is complete.
Инвентори до сега не сме видяли да има инвентори като в ролплей и в други игри няма. Това може и да има, па да не са го показали. На PC без ауто-айм е невъзможно. Аз до ден днешен не мога да стрелям в движение, докато шофирам. Как па да е невъзможно? Сигурно е въпрос на свикване.
Completely optional. You can pursue it if you want. You can engage in activities. You can hold hands. You can go on seemingly date, minigame, side missions. But other than that, they are still a duo.
Да, сигурно ще има сайт мишен и да я водиш наляво-надясно, докато я оправиш, докато я надуиш корема. Да, между другото, наистина имаше, Емчо, наистина си прав, наистина имаше някакво кръгче. Може да има някакъв daily limit, както му викаме по сървърите. Може да има някакъв daily limit. Ами не, банките вече, виж как се казват. Чакай, че го се не вижда.
Seemingly date, minigame, side missions. But other than that, they are still
не мога
a duo. And what we see
Ломбанк. И флика има, бе. И Ломбанк има, и флика има. Как си има флика?
here is just cool interactive stuff around their apartment. You can switch the lights off. You can also turn on the TV and watch classic Grand Theft Auto style TV shows.
Да изгасиш лампата, да стане романтично. Реклама на бургерите. Ушев бургер!
Prairie burger ad that just seems really
Прерия бургер.
over the top. But the interesting thing in terms of interactive things in the apartment is the fridge. Jason opens the fridge. It has two beer.
Да, верно. С хладилника даде доста интеракции. Логър, бир, лавац, бир, различни видове бири. Не колко нещо. Цяло меню. Може би инвентарите ще изглеждат ето по този начин.
Types that you can click on, but also
мутита, протеинов шейк. Виж какви неща ти дават. Гледай, напитките ще те помпат. Напитките, като се прибереш, ще те помпат и ще рековърват.
Also this blitzberry smoothie that actually looks like it gives you green and maybe energy, and then purple seemingly focus, which may
Да, то фокус може да е нещо да вкарваш бавния ефект или нещо такова. Виагра дали ще има? Едва ли човека е млад.
be a bullet time focus, a slow-mo focus that we'll see later. But
Предполагам, че е нещо за смол. Оп, лапна нещо.
there's also something else in the fridge, but it kind of cuts off and it's not clear. But it seems like
Протеинов шейк, бе, брат. Как ще? То си го пише.
there's all different types of little stat boosts you can get. Again, similar to Red Dead Redemption 2. As the characters get dressed and leave the apartment, Jason holds the door open for her. This actually happens multiple times.
Да,
throughout
верно,
these
няколко
whole
пъти се
gameplay
случва да
things.
се
And it's
покаже,
just a
че е
small little
кавалер.
touch, but with two actual characters moving in the environment that you can switch between, that is still kind of impressive how they do that. And just, again, a nice little detail. They hop into a kind of fake late 80s, early 90s red BMW M3, which is pretty sweet, and they
Казва се БМВ бандитка.
take off to their mission. Here, the song playing is People Are People by Depeche Mode. And what we see here driving around is just a lot of civilian and car density. There's
Верно, трафика е огромен. А той в GTA 5 беше огромен трафика, така че това не е нещо ново.
traffic, there's construction, there's lots of people on the sidewalks. We see people waiting at bus stops, and it's just a real noticeable difference in terms of detail, fidelity, and just stuff going on. We see a lot of good open world games.
Той е паднал от моста, бе, брат.
And this one definitely seems convincingly real world. Plus, it's also massive. We're going to talk about the
Верно е масивно. Това, че е масивно, обаче
higher view in a little while, but GameSpot is now reporting that the world is twice the size of GTA V's Los Santos.
GameSpot вече съобщава, че светът е приблизително 2 пъти по-голям от Лос Сантос от GTA 5. Може би ще е даже 3 пъти. Картата няма.
Roughly. That's pretty freaking huge, man. Now, from there, more montage stuff. We see Jason walking out of a convenience store eating food. The food restores his health.
Да, храната. Явно храната много ще е важно. Какво ядеш, какво ти трябва.
Looking at the guys hanging out behind him, there are bikes visible. So I'm curious to see if you're going to be able to take a bike, steal a bike, and ride a bike.
Естествено, че ще може да откраднеш
We also
колело.
see a hood slide.
Оръжията са, скиновете на оръжията са майката си трака.
Maneuver into a shootout. I love hood slides. Perfect hood slide confirmed.
Супер е слайда, да. Слайда по колите е готин.
Here. We get to see Lucia in some hand-to-hand combat. She seems to be more of the fighter. She's got some real pro skills here, just in terms of the animations. It also looks like
Направо
maybe
си е
she
как и
can
MMA-ката
counter. So
тая.
I'm still kind of curious to see how changed the hand-to-hand combat
Това е стария файт. Много ще е променен.
is compared to GTA 5. We get to see crazy, zany NPCs you can interact with. We actually get to see some backyard wrestling, which
Те лудите NPC-та направо ще се пукаме от смях. Сигурно са напълнили с уникални неща и сюжети.
looks pretty fun. Also, we get to see Lucia walk through a place using a shotgun one-handed.
Да, носи нещо. Тя обрала нещо и стреля се на ръка. Явно може и така.
With what it's just badass. Again, impressive
Верно е бадас.
third-person shooting stuff going on. Also, notably, some good gore here. Then we switch back to a cutscene where the couple goes to meet another couple for drinks at a rooftop bar. We
Двойката се среща с друга двойка. Има ли суинг? Сак? Аз един сак видях, ама два. Единия под мишница. Някакъв обир е, брат. Влезнала е някакви я обрала и ги изтрепва след това. О, да, Емчо. Аз, Емчо, за първ път, като влезнах да играя GTA 5 ролплей, влезнах да играя без да съм играл GTA 5 ролплей. Това ми беше най-интересното нещо. В ролплей да изследвам мапа, братле. Защото аз не бях играл GTA 5. Последната GTA, която бях играл, беше 4-ката. И нали, като играч, като дете. И влезнах да играя GTA 5 ролплей, без да съм играл GTA 5 самата. И ми беше толкова интересно и толкова не знаех къде се намирам. И това, че не знаеш къде се намираш, беше много интересно. Да изучаваш мапа в движение.
See R2 to hold hands, which is a funny game mechanic. Also, Lucia mentions Snapmatic, which is probably like
Добре да е с R2 я държиш за ръка, с R1 моля да я шляпнеш по газа.
Rockstar's version, like Grand Theft Auto fake version of Snapchat. Then we see a long conversation between the duo and Brian and Lori. It's been speculated that Brian is Stephen Root, the actor. It definitely sounds like his voice. In between this, we also get a Waffle House robbery, or like a fake Waffle House. And what...
Кеф има как си слагат маските. Не е просто ами слагане, връзване, банданите. Якота работа.
I think might be a big theme for the game is Brian saying to Jason, you gotta know when to get off. Essentially, when to slow down and step out of the crime life. Then we get to see the characters pick someone up.
Може би това ще е сюжета, как се опитват да се откажат от криминалния живот.
And go for a drive and ultimately get into a big shootout with the police, with Jason leaning out of the car window and firing at a police helicopter, as well as
Тези сцени вече са... Тези сцени тук са... Аз това вчера, като го гледахме, това вече... Убийствени са чейсовете. Чейсовете са Unreal. Unreal. Здрасти, DMBG. Ice King, здрасти. Да, само за PlayStation 5 ще е в началото. Да. Сигурно около година.
Police kind of fake Dodge pickup trucks. We see him damaging the front of the car and the engine bay. We see him shooting windshields. We see him shooting tires. Stuff we kind of expect from Grand Theft.
Мисъл, тези чейсове и после играч срещу играч, нали, в ролплей тези чейсове ще изглеждат unbelievable. Unbelievable ще изглеждат. Да, гледаме детайли, които сме пропуснали, батка.
Auto at this point, but the shooting here and just the feel of it looks really good. Also, with all of this
Не изглежда много добре. Той изглежда брутално.
going on, there's a lot of licensed tracks playing, but it's important to note the actual game score, the composed music. It's kind of 80s and synthy and poppy in a lot of aspects, but it's surprisingly upbeat and kind of fun. It's not dour or serious.
Hey folks, it's Falcon. I'm landing this thing. We split this up. I'm doing the last half of this trailer. So what's happening here? We have a view of the 4-star wanted level. And I don't know what Jake has said.
Да, тук разбираме при 4 звезди какво се случва. При 4 звезди имахме хеликоптер. Така е, Нико.
We kind of watched this and then immediately got into recording our parts, but I really like the HUD, which is important when we're talking about what's happening here. They go into this parking lot, they burn the car to the ground, switch to a van, and the cop cars completely ignore them from that point forward. Now, what's obviously the vehicle is one of the things that the HUD indicates, but these little icons clearly mean like stuff the police know about you. You've got looks, cars.
Така. Вижте, значи когато полицията те гони, има неща, които полицията знае за теб. Колко човека гони, как са облечени. Лицето е може би това, че знае как изглежда колата, с която се движиш. И за да махнеш 4 звезди, освен да бягаш, трябва да смениш и тези неща. Тоест, имаш знанията на полицията, какво полицията е видяла, нали? Какво предполагаш, че е видяла, защото ти знаеш как. Да, точно както in the roleplay, брат.
Number of people, CCTV stuff, like when they burn the car on the HUD.
Ето, вижте, като изгориха колата изчезна. Че интересно. Като изгориха колата изчезна.
goes away. So the cops no longer know about the car. There's so much information being conveyed here, and it's this tiny little minimalist HUD.
И това сигурно са само част от нещата.
And I genuinely cannot tell you how happy I am to see all of that. There's also all of the stars. We saw a 4-star wanted level. There is clearly 6 stars. Then we saw a little bit of how the acting and...
Звездата вече е повече от една, преди бяха до 5. Но това вече беше ликнато. Това вече беше ликнато.
Scenes and stuff are going to play out with them asking about being in Raul's crew and then talking about checking out the area. That's clearly transitioning you back into non-linear open world gameplay. Then we got to see some of the activities. First off, Jayson playing basketball in his driveway. Take 2 owns.
Да, но активитета ще има много. Лов, баскетбол, колела, молела, тротинетки.
The crossover potential quite high there in terms of gameplay. There's an underwater
Гмуркане,
with scuba gear. We saw Lucia
фитнес.
working out and how the controls would work for that. You're clearly pulling triggers on the back. I'm not exactly sure the pattern or what, but it's clear that's not just like a cutscene. We've said in videos, we think there's going to be some element of working
И с фитнеси ще има навсякъде.
out to stay in shape, but we don't know exactly to what extent yet. I would say
Със сигурност то фитнес ти дава преимущество.
it is more or less safe to say it's at least a component, though. Will we see San Andreas level? You can become chonky Jayson and Lucia. I don't know, but we got a lot of beach shots here, and I think that it's good to note here that they have not scaled back on the density of NPCs in these beach shots. Now's about the time you would start seeing that kind of stuff because we're getting closer to release. These are the expectations they are setting. When you're driving around with both Jayson and Lucia in the car, you can switch between them and take care of cops. In fact, it does look like we have the Grand Theft Auto 5-esque character switching. But you can do it while in local proximity or while separated. This is a spot where we can again take a look at those 4 icons in the HUD. Separated. This is a spot where we can again take a look at those 4 icons in the HUD. This time...
Същите са иконите, между другото. Обаче явно, без значение на колко звезди си, винаги ги има.
It's only 2 stars. It seems like their car face and clothes were identified. The city during that...
Изглежда мащабно.
That building jump looks nuts, like peering out over this open world from this high of a altitude and it looking this good. I mean, this is next gen. This is such a big leap in an open world game. I know you might say, well, I've seen graphics that look this good. Not at this scale.
Да, не в този мащаб, наистина.
We straight up have not seen a game that looks this good at this scale. And these night shots they look incredible. I feel like I don't have to say the word cinematic. I think we all are way past, oh, it looks real.
Това изглежда... Състезанията изглеждат... Insane. Insane. Изглеждат състезанията. Insane.
Cinematic. But like, I can't help but sometimes during the course of watching this extended preview, I feel like I'm watching a movie. It's crazy. It's crazy how good this is.
Да, все едно гледаш филм, обаче филм, който си чакал толкова много години. Десетилетие и половина. Не знам, Стефанов. Тая игра ще е всичко в едно. Тая игра ще има всичко. Тая игра ще е всичко в едно.
Game looks. And that's not just to talk about like the quality of textures and
Текстурите са майка си
lighting and stuff like that. The camera moves in a way that feels big. And while we're coming towards the end of all of this stuff,
наистина самото движение на камерата, като правиш нещо, много придава такова.
Здрави, имаш ли скриншот от снощния талон?
Все едно играеш точно на такова. Нощния талон, ле. От кой с нощен талон, Митко?
And we get into this Max Payne 3 like scenario. Did anybody else feel like that while they were watching this part? I was like, ooh, Max Payne 3, where you have to like be a bodyguard to these irresponsible rich people, and a shootout starts that they're patting themselves on
А ние сме тук си бодигард.
the back over whatever business or political achievement they have.
Да,
Except, of
това са
course, two
различни
things.
мисии.
The scale and just the quality of every moment. Moment to moment during this mission is nuts. Even during all of the downtime, your experience
Мале, дано геймплея е 500 часа.
За REFAN.
Дано е 500 часа. Дано е 500 часа. Ама ние вчера не сме теглили REFAN, бе, Митко. Вчера сме теглили само талони.
things that feel like well-acted, scripted moments in a movie. You're moving through this space as Jason,
Имам, да.
following the various people you have to protect, and obviously it all goes tits up, and the shooting starts. Oh my god, the shooting, folks. I'm so happy with how the shooting looks.
Сам си наглася мерника. От това, което гледам, сам си наглася мерника. Не е аутлайн. От това, което гледам, сам си наглася мерника.
With the many, many years we've seen Grand Theft Auto shooting, we finally have what looks like the quality of a AAA third-person shooting game in Grand Theft Auto, like fully. I know 5 was a big jump over 4.
Не знам, изглежда ми като сам да си наглася мерника.
And I know Red Dead Redemption 2 has an intricate system, but this
Кой ще играе 1000 часа, то ще ти писне да я чакаш да стигне до края. Абсурд, брат, тая игра ще е unlimited content.
just looks fun. Like fun as hell. You got the cover, you've got the aiming, you do have the slow-mo, a la the whole Red Dead series. When you hit the slow-mo, you can aim at the head, aim at the knee, or even directly at his gun, shoot the weapon out of their hand, disarm.
Поред мен ето го. Това е този фокус, чат. Ето го. Май това е този фокус.
The head, aim at the knee, or
Да, ето го. Значи фокуса е точно това. Нищо чудно, батка. Фокуса е точно това. Вижте сега. Как си забавя.
even directly at his gun, shoot the weapon out of their
И как
hand, disarm
изтича.
them. I'm just going for the head personally. Like these guys came in and started shooting. Screw them. Rounding it out, there's just more activities, street racing, nitrous. Legit looks like a AAA racing game. And we come to a freaking close on captured on PS5. Note the lack of the word pro. This was captured on a base PS5.
Това е заснето на PS5. Да, не е на PS5 Pro. Да, това всъщност, което вчера Стефан викаше, виж какво пише. Всъщност пише, че е заснето на обикновен PlayStation, а не на PlayStation Pro.
That's crazy. It's crazier than that live streamer guy in the trunk of the car asking chat what to do when his vehicle's stolen, doing the trunk challenge or whatever. Man, this was magic. I feel like transported to an earlier time in my life when video games did new things. Not to say like
Когато видеоигрите правиха нови неща. Спомните ли си тези времена? Когато сега играем игра и трудно нещо може да ни каже, гати, ново е това. Наистина тогава игрите правиха нови неща. И дано тая игра е такава, дето да прави нови неща. Обаче не забеляза, че има червена и жълта точка, като гледаш човека с фокус на мода. Не забелязах. Какво имаш предвид? Какво имаш предвид? Виждам само мерника. Каква червена и жълта
other
точка?
hand, disarm head, aim at the knee, or you
Мерника се променя като цяло. Каза слабостите. Ау! Това ли?
series. When you hit the slow-mo, you can aim at the head, aim at the knee, or even directly at his gun, shoot the weapon.
Къде мога го оцелиш и ще го приключиш? Цялата глава му е такова, тук къде държи оръжието, коленете. Да. Да.
On the other hand, disarm him. I'm just going
Тоест можеш, ако го разстреляш в тези точки по ръцете или краката, можеш само да го обезоръжиш и да не го убиваш.
for the head personally. Like, these guys came in and started shooting. It's crazier than that stolen doing the trunk challenge or whatever. Man, this was magic. I feel like transported to an earlier time in my life when video games did new things. Not to say like I know absolutely everything that they're going to do, but this just
Аз
seems
тук
like such
що
a big
няма
deal
го
to me.
коментирам.
I am super freaking excited to play this game. How about you? Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think.
Да, верно. А вие как сте? Оставете коментар, ако и вие сте развълнувани, защото аз направо съм ебал мамата. Направо съм се хайпнал много. Направо съм се хайпнал много.